Shooter games are a competitive market, and I don't just mean online competition between players. As we fight to the death in digital online battlefields, the games themselves are engaged in a battle of their own, climbing a massive pile of generic copycats or ill-conceived projects so that they may stand the test of time and proudly boast the iconic, classic title. Halo Seee is one of the many shooters that can boast this title. Its world was unique among shooters at the time, its visuals breathtaking, and its brilliant combat loop so powerful that it still stands the test of time. But best of all, it introduced the world to a silhouette so charming and memorable that it's usually the first thing people remember when they think of Halo: the highly memorable assault rifle. Still to this day, the assault rifle's bullpup frame and digital ammo counter is a branding element that has remained a part of the franchise's identity in the same way the Master Chief has. You all like these weapon videos, so I might as well keep going, and the polite words of encouragement inspire me to achieve greatness. Or butts. One of the two. If you do enjoy this video, sharing and liking is greatly appreciated, seeing as I'm sure YouTube's algorithm is gonna have some issues with this name in my title. Silly YouTube. Not understanding context or basic critical thinking. The legendary assault rifle made its debut in Halo's first outing, Halo Combat Evolved. It began life as a rather generic piece of concept art, but thankfully the final design is much more unique. The weapon is recognized for its bullpup frame, digital ammo counter, and plentiful, no, copious, no, kingly amount of bullets per reload. The weapon has a strong resemblance to the real-life F-2000, which was apparently an accident. In the art of Halo, former Bungie artist Robert McLeese remembers being pretty shocked when he found out that after the game shipped, his little creation had such an eerie resemblance to a real-world weapon. It probably speaks to the man's talent for designing believable weapons. It's the second weapon you receive in the campaign and serves as a reliable way to consistently lay down a ton of damage and rip through enemies in front of you. In the campaign, the best way to use it is to tear up hallways or groups of enemies with a constant stream of damage to suppress them or make them weak enough to succumb to a whack with the butt of the gun. Make sure to feather the shots though, seeing as the accuracy tends to fall apart after a little over a second in sustained fire. It's also quite good to use against groups of flood forms, such as the little floodlings that tend to attack you in large swarms. The lengthy reload means that it's good to make use of the pocket reload glitch whenever your mag runs dry. To do the pocket reload, just double tap the reload button and switch to your other gun. The weapon will be reloaded in your back pocket, and whenever you feel the reload should be done, pull it back out and a freshly reloaded gun awaits your trigger pulls. And man, do those trigger pulls feel good. In multiplayer, the assault rifle has quite a few unique utilities and attributes. Its strength is not its ability to murder and kill good, but rather the consistent damage output and suppressive capabilities that can make follow-ups like double melee button combos quite useful. Its best strength, according to the pros I talked to, is quick camo. The assault rifle is the one gun that returns you back to invisible the fastest. So when picking up an active camo, instantly fire your gun and you will be hidden from view instantly. It also helps when damaged to use this trick as well. The assault rifle of Combat Evolved is probably the most interesting version of the gun in the series, from its unique tricks and utilities that require players to think outside of the box, or the pure power fantasy that comes from wielding an alien's pulse rifle-like gun and tearing up a hallway as sparks dance and shower over fleeing grunts. It's undeniably one of the most recognized silhouettes in shooters, and it's remembered fondly as the years go on. Letting its younger brother, the battle rifle, have a turn in Halo 2, the assault rifle decided to join the team again, and this time star alongside the battle rifle for the first time in Halo 3, released for the Xbox 360 in 2007. While obviously looking like a higher quality version of the Seee assault rifle, this is technically a new model and design within the Halo universe. This is the MA5C, as opposed to the Combat Evolved's MA5B. The weapon is a bit longer, has a cold steel coat of paint, and even features some green lights on the gun to give off a more advanced look while still retaining the original design. It's got a Marathon logo as a neat little Easter egg to Bungie's other shooter series, the one that's not as good as Doom. Most notably, the magazine was cut by nearly half to a 32 rounds that would remain with the series for a long time and become the standard magazine count for this weapon. The Halo 3 assault rifle has a slightly slower fire rate, but much higher accuracy and damage output. Not enough to reliably kill, mind you, because the assault rifle is still designed to be a gun used for its reliable ability to consistently tear up whatever's in front of you, while following up with a quick melee attack or a switch to a precision weapon for a headshot. It's quite a good gun in the campaign during close quarters missions, and its ability against swarms of floodlings or drones is kind of undermined by the rather adorable gun sounds that kind of betray how useful it really is. It sounds like a BB gun or something. Unfortunately, it battles with the SMG quite a lot for a spot in the sandbox and tends to be beaten out by the SMG more often than not. In multiplayer, however, due to the rather wonky netcode of Halo 3's Online, the weapon's usefulness can only really be judged on a match-per-match basis. In LAN matches, the gun's role in the sandbox shines as you drain shields and finish off with melees, or lay down suppressive fire in hallways. But online, it's a bit of a mess. Sometimes your bullets will just be eaten up by the servers or pass right through opponents, and it's no wonder that people can't quite get a feel for the weapon. On paper, it's completely fine in the sandbox, but there's this misconception that it's trash. It's not trash. It's the Halo 3 netcode that's screwing you over. It's becoming a bit of a pattern in these videos to bring up with an asterisk Halo 3's netcode when discussing Halo 3 guns. I swear, I'm not a broken record. It's just how things are, I guess. Neon lights and jazzy tunes drown out the angry calls of monsters from the stars as they kick up puddles and stomp through the rainy streets at night. ODST is truly one of the most immersive games in the Halo series. The MA5C from Halo 3 actually makes a return in this game, despite the game being set during the events of Halo 2. A few changes were made to the weapon to make it feel more reliable. Its firing sound is much louder, and the accuracy was increased slightly, while also slightly decreasing its damage to make up for the accuracy buff. Ultimately, there isn't much of a difference here, though its role next to the silenced SMG is now much more defined. It's a gun I find myself using quite a lot in ODST. I am an idiot though, as many commenters are quick to point out. It's pretty cool in this game. Give it a try. Halo Reach is set before the events of Halo Combat Evolved, and thus it sports a very early version of what would become our iconic assault rifle. The MA37, as it's called, is weird looking. It's undeniably the assault rifle, but it's quite rough. Reflecting its precursor nature to the more refined final weapon, the ammo counter is an attachment that's been slid on a rail. The stock on the back appears to be collapsible, and overall it reflects a more gritty take on this weapon. The sound effect also appears to be the Halo 3 firing sound, but modified and updated to give itself a beefy and persistent rumble. The shell casings it ejects also have the word Chief written on them. That's pretty cute. Following most other guns of Reach, the assault rifle now has alternate reload animations for empty and non-empty magazines, and the aggressive bullet spread system ensures that the best way to use this weapon is with feathering. It becomes wildly inaccurate as you hold down the trigger as indicated by the crosshair. The maximum amount of spare ammo you can carry is 288 spare rounds, though sometimes the campaign will spawn you more than the max amount, such as a ridiculous 600 spare rounds. Its role in the campaign is very similar to previous incarnations though, and you can use it at a further range than normal due to the aggressive bloom system. In multiplayer, its usefulness is limited at a range, but it edges a bit closer to being a weapon focused on lethality, if you can make sure to control the spread of the gun. It's weaker than its Halo 3 brother, but it has the capabilities to be more accurate. I never see it brought up in debates about favorite assault rifle variants, and I'm not quite sure why. Maybe y'all can give me some insight. In Combat Evolved Anniversary, the classic assault rifle gets a facelift. And while the Reach MA37 was used as a placeholder model in pre-release builds, the final game sports the more appropriate Halo 3 version, albeit slightly recolored and modified to look more in line with the original Seee assault rifle. The firing sound for it was also updated by taking the original sound from Seee and applying either another gun or some kind of bass alongside it, so that it sounds like a thunderous version of what we remembered. As it stands, the Anniversary Assault Rifle is my favorite version of this weapon to date. Just listen to that sound. Five years after the release of Halo 3, its sequel, Halo 4, would burst onto the gaming scene with a new, more science fiction-focused aesthetic and a new, more detailed universe. The assault rifle is fittingly the first gun you get on the derelict Forward Unto Dawn. Now, even though it doesn't make a lot of sense canonically, this is actually a new variant of the assault rifle, the MA5D. While some designs in Halo 4 veer off the original look of things, the assault rifle is one of the most lovingly crafted guns in the game. It's a brand new model, built from the ground up, but still remaining undeniably the distinct silhouette that we all know and love. It still retains the iconic 32-round magazine and digital ammo counter, though now the ammo counter is much more science fiction-y and high-tech. Want to know some cool trivia? In real life, the sounds of the Halo 4 assault rifle were derived from a Scar H, which fires the same rounds as the fictional MA5. Behold, one of the most aggressive and meaty sounding guns in the series. Truly, a gun fit for a king or a chief. A Master Chief. The gun is much less of a utility weapon this time around, and it's focused on killing, which, if it weren't for the satisfying sound design, does make the weapon a bit less interesting in my opinion. It tends to hijack the plasma weapon roles as it just reliably strips shields on its own and is even able to kill certain enemies without the assistance of other weapons or follow-up melees. That may seem pretty cool, but remember, the beauty of Halo sandboxes is that weapons don't hog the spotlight. I understand why people do enjoy it though. In multiplayer, the weapon also acts very much the same. It's a very lethal gun that tends to dominate in close quarters environments, though due to the fact that other players can now spawn with weapons of their choice, melee follow-ups tend to be a bit more used so that you can't be downed by a battle rifle in a close-range gunfight. Halo 4's multiplayer combat loop is a bit messy. There's a lot of redundant weapons that are just slightly different versions of other guns, a problem that sadly carries into Halo 5, and while the assault rifle is able to climb above the pile thanks to excellent sound design, you can't quite help but feel like you aren't working for your kills. The game's just giving them to you. In the Master Chief Collection, the MA5D is slightly different than its Xbox 360 counterpart. Like most weapons in Halo 4 on the MCC, the increased frame rate had a weird effect on the fire rate of the guns, and this is very noticeable with the assault rifle. It's slightly faster on the MCC, and sometimes outpaces the firing sounds. A good way to break the sound effect is to feather your shots really quickly. Listen to how odd this sounds. Moving away from Halo 4, this gun also makes an appearance in Halo 2 Anniversary multiplayer, of all places. Weird, right? It's the Halo 4 model with very little changed, and it definitely stands out as quite odd due to it looking so advanced next to the more down-to-earth military designs of some of Halo 2's weapons. You can fire it during its reload animation, which definitely looks kinda wonky, and its firing sound is also a bit odd. It's very hollow and lacks a punch that Halo 4 had. Overall, something's very weird with this version of the assault rifle. It feels very undercooked and kind of sloppy. I've heard people say that they love it, but I'm honestly not quite sure why personally. It's very just fuzzy and soft and glitchy to me. The weapon mostly performs like its Halo 4 counterpart, and tends to have a hard time standing up to the SMG due to the SMG's dual-wielding abilities, though it's still quite usable for those who enjoy it. Those people just aren't me. Maybe the fans of this gun can explain in the comments why they personally liked it. Is there something I'm missing? Halo 5 would mark the first proper Halo release on the Xbox One, and with it came a whole host of high-quality, next-gen models and sounds. And all of these models look even prettier if you have an Xbox One X. I present to you all the most advanced assault rifle model in the series, made by Andrew Bradbury. The Halo 5 assault rifle is absolutely beautiful, and oozing with love and care. Even the coloring of the gun now sports a clear nod to the pre-release version of Combat Evolved's assault rifle back in the late 90s. It's a beautiful weapon, and while the firing sound may be slightly less menacing than the Halo 4 version, the animation work, the feel of the weapon, is nothing short of beautiful. One gripe I have is the change in the ammo counter from its beta to the final release. The final game's ammo counter is weirdly bright, and the ammo capacity was changed from the standard 32 rounds to 36 rounds, and it just doesn't seem right with me. But that's subjective. How is it though? Sadly, this is where problems start to arise. Halo 5 is a game that pushes lethality over utility hard. Every gun reliably kills, even down to guns that shouldn't be killing, such as the plasma pistol. After a massive balancing patch that increased the assault rifle's accuracy and added a ridiculous headshot multiplier, it can reliably kill enemies at a distance when aiming down the sights, and seems to be more useful against grunts and jackals than even some precision weapons, which shouldn't be the case. It's a gun that's just reliable in most situations, which leads to less variety in combat and less reasons to juggle different guns. When every gun just kills good, it means there's less room for guns to have unique roles, thus less variety in the combat. In the esports scene, Halo 5 tried to push automatics into the HCS really hard, and pro players were furious with it. For pro players, automatics make the game less enjoyable and chaotic, and overall it leads to less skill in the matches. It was this whole controversy back in the day, and thankfully, the assault rifle was finally retired from Halo 5 esports, much to the rejoicing of pro players. The esports players that I've talked to seem to all agree that the assault rifle could be a weapon that works in Halo competitive, but due to 343's misconception that high damage, good killing equals good gun, they don't see it working until 343 returns Halo to a more varied and utility-focused weapon meta over just kill, kill, kill. It's not all bad though. Warzone offers many attachments and modifications, which means Halo 5 has a ton of fun customization for this gun, which makes for a lot of fun custom games. Let's take a look at all the attachments. First up, we have the long barrel attachment, which extends the red reticle range and reticle stickiness distance. Kinetic bolts allows the assault rifle to fire hard light shots, which enhances knockback and damage against vehicles. The stabilizing jets keep the weapon centered as you fire it, removing upwards kick. The targeting laser decreases bullet spread and makes bullet curve and bullet magnetism really aggressive. A good attachment for long-range headshots and grunt rounds in Warzone Firefight. The silencer is your standard first-person shooter attachment. It takes you off the radar when firing and makes your gun quieter. The energy blade attachment allows you to get an instant melee kill. A fantastic choice for the assault rifle. The Night Blade attachment deals knockback against vehicles and increased damage against them, but as to not get splattered, I'd just suggest you avoid this. Now let's move on to sight attachments. The Recon Sight is your standard first-person shooter red dot sight. It works well when combined with the targeting laser. The Long Shot Sight is the scope of a DMR put onto the assault rifle. A bit puzzling, but try it out. And now onto the attachments that can't be mixed and matched. The COG sight is an attachment that gives you the health situation of enemies. It's a good weapon for Warzone Firefight as it lets you keep track of the state of targets. The Hybrid sight is an elite holographic display reverse engineered to work on human weapons. A bit cleaner than the red dot sight, but overall, I just stick with the red dot. The Morph Sight is a Promethean attachment integrated onto human weapons. It's not that useful, but it's cool nonetheless. The Sound Dampener attachment is similar to the silencer, but it doesn't reduce your range. That's kinda it. The Suppressor is a much better choice, and I just ignore this thing. The Threat Marker shows enemies through walls. Avoid it. And finally, the extended mags. They raise the ammo count of the assault rifle by 50%. 343 kind of missed an opportunity to give it 60 rounds per mag, but oh well. It's fantastic for Warzone Firefight during grunt rounds due to the headshot multiplier of the assault rifle. Halo's assault rifle is a fantastic weapon that stayed with the series through the years. It's appeared in nearly every iteration of the series, and it definitely won't be leaving anytime soon. What kind of weapon do you want to see me do next, and what's your favorite version of the assault rifle? How do you want to see Halo Infinites perform? Comment down below, and thank you for the support with this video, seeing as the YouTube algorithm droids could be coming for me at any second. I'll see you guys on the next video, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.